Hey everybody, this is Robot here. This is going to be a real quick impromptu diagnostic on a modern Vespa. So I got my scan tool, I got a voltmeter, and a customer comes in, the scooter doesn't start. And that could mean so many things on a modern Vespa. So a lot of times, first of all, does it crank or not crank? This one does not crank, so there's a lot of people just go, well, it needs a starter motor, or most likely it's going to be a battery in many cases. So make sure your battery voltage is not dropping. So I'm going to show you, it's a little bit low because I've had the ignition on, but it's over 12 volts. And then give it a shot at starting it. Let's see what it does. Drops a little bit, it's just clicking. So you could hear it through the mic, there's a little click. So the click means the starter relay is getting power. The immobilizer system's working. I don't need to diagnose a mobilizer issue with something like this. These do have advanced immobilizers, whether they have the key or they have the keyless fob. So I hear a relay clicking or solenoid. So the starter relay is clicking. I've come down to two conclusions. Could be a stuck motor if the motor's locked up. I've seen that happen before, but I don't think that's the case because the customer has started a few times. It could be a bad ground terminal, and between the engine and the frame there's going to be a ground strap. Usually it goes onto the belt cover, so you may want to look at that. Sometimes starters are intermittent. If you know the old automotive trick, when your starter's not working, you kind of hit it with a hammer and you can get it going again. And that's the commutator and the brushes are starting to really wear out. And just the act of hitting it kind of loosens things up and makes contact again. Kind of gives you the last little life out of a starter. That could be it, or it could be a bad starter relay. So I'll go with the simple one. I'm going to diagnose the starter relay. So we have our negative terminal on the battery, our positive, which is about 12 volts. And the starter relay is right down here on the Piaggio. It's in different locations. If you pull the pet carrier or the bucket out of a Vespa, you'll see it right there. It's just a big relay. You're going to see 12 volts on one terminal, and the other terminal is going to have nearly 0 volts. So I hear the relay starting. I'm going to try. So you hear that relay is trying. The computer is actually commanding it to try, and it's not starting. But I see no voltage on the other end of the relay. So one way to verify that's right, it's kind of a little bit sparky, but I'll usually get like a pliers and I'll short the two terminals. So if you know about old cars, you know the old starter solenoid, you see people with a screwdriver and get there and like jump the starter to get it going. I mean, this is stuff you don't even do on modern cars, but essentially I'm going to do that trick with a scooter. And if it cranks, I know my starter motor's good and the relay is bad. All right, you ready for some sparks? Be prepared to pull away, because if the starter motor is shorted, you're going to have some huge sparks. So it's going to spark anyways. So there you go. Nothing wrong with the starter motor. It's just the relay. And hear that relay? It's making the click, but not connecting the circuit for the starter. So there you go. Diagnose the problem. I'll let my techs take care of it. This scooter's under warranty. It's actually the first time I've seen a starter relay fail on something under warranty. So get that fixed for the customer, get it back to the customer. Happy to share like a little quick diagnostic, especially electrical ones, because most people, electrics are kind of the mystery. It's what I love the most, is the most difficult stuff like electrical diagnostics. So came down to a pretty simple repair. Don't have to dig the whole starter motor out and don't need to diagnose some complicated immobilizer issue. See you in the next one. Robot here.